Hello! Welcome to this time lapse of me painting a jellyfish and an octopus. During this quarantine, I thought it would be a nice time to revisit some old hobbies. I used to paint with a lot of acrylic paints in my art studio, but ever since high school ended, I stopped going, and so I haven't really painted seriously in about 4 years. And so I wanted to use this time to go back to painting, since now I have a lot more time on my hands, and also wanted to try something new. I've never painted with oil paints before, and I wanted to give it a try, but upon researching the different solvents and mediums that you needed to use for painting, it kind of stressed me out, and so I found this compromise that is water mixable, and so I don't need to buy all of the solvents and mediums needed to use these oil paints. And I can just clean up using water and just buy linseed oil to thin out the paint if I wanted to, and it's just a lot less stressful personally and less toxic for me to paint in my room, as that would be the place where I'd be painting. I've been an art kid-ish for a lot of my time in late elementary school and high school. My mom brought me to an art studio when I was in grade 7 because I expressed some interest in art, and I took lessons there up until grade 11. First, I did a lot of still life sketches with graphite, and then I moved on to painting with acrylic still life and moved on to painting landscape scenery later, all of which I just copied other artists' paintings and never actually used real life or a photograph as a reference, which I don't really know why, but that's the way that my art teacher taught me how to paint, and it was really fun. Sometimes I felt a little restricted because I was just copying another person's painting, and that made me feel like I couldn't really be creative otherwise, even though whenever I try to create art from scratch, it never turns out the way that I want, and so I just think that I really need to copy something in order for me to make something really artistic and really nice. So for this painting, I had to use some reference photos to copy what a jellyfish and an octopus actually looks like, but the kind of concept is original, I guess, even though it's just an octopus and a jellyfish kind of situated next to each other. There's not really much of a concept here, but it was still fun to be creative in that way. In grade 8, we were applying to high school, and I had actually applied to an art school in my area, and I ended up getting on the wait list, and I didn't end up going. And so I went to my regular high school, and in retrospect, I couldn't be more grateful, as I really had a wonderful time at the high school that I went to, and I imagine that I wouldn't have had an actual good time if I actually got into art school, because I later realized that art was something that I liked doing in my free time, and not something that I wanted to pursue seriously. Here, trying to fix the background, trying to make it a more muted blue, but this was the best that I could do, and it doesn't look that bad in retrospect, but it wasn't really the blue that I was looking for at the beginning. It was really fun to use oil paints actually, because it was really nice to blend, and the slow drying time allowed me more time to kind of fix the edges or blend colors together, which was really nice. So here I am painting the octopus. I took a course on invertebrates in my senior year of university as an elective, and that was actually one of my favorite courses, even though it really had nothing to do with anything else that I was studying, as I was doing a double major in psychology and criminology. I took it as an elective for fun because as a kid, I've always really had a fascination with wildlife and animals, and I wanted to revisit that passion. And it was really an amazing course. I learned a lot about animals that I never even knew existed, and it was just really fascinating to see all of these specimens that we talked about in class, also in labs, whether it is a still specimen or a live one. One animal that we did learn about is the octopus, and if you are interested, here are some octopus facts for you. Octopuses belong in the class of cephalopods, which belong in the phylum mollusks, placing octopus in relation to other animals like mussels and snails. They are invertebrates, meaning that they do not have a backbone, like humans and other mammals do. Cephalopods, including octopuses, squids, and cuttlefish, are actually pretty intelligent among the invertebrate group. A lot of octopuses have the ability to mimic other animals and also camouflage, thereby enhancing their ability to defend themselves against predators. Some are also poisonous, like the beautiful blue-ringed octopus. They have enough poison to kill a human, apparently, which is pretty badass. And they also have a really hard beak that aids their feeding, but the rest of their body is pretty squishy and they're able to squeeze in tight places. One thing about octopuses specifically is that a lot of them live in the deep ocean, which makes their environment very cold, and so they have a compound in their blood called hemocyanin that makes their blood blue as opposed to red like other animals' blood, which is pretty cool. Here I've gotten started on the jellyfish. The jellyfish was kind of a bitch to paint, but I think it was also the most fun to paint. Painting the tentacles is actually a lot of fun because all I did was just kind of squiggle aimlessly, and then that's sort of the point because the jellyfish tentacles are just floating in the water, and so that was a really fun part to paint. And also, here are some cool jellyfish facts for you. Jellyfish belong in the phylum Cnidaria, which includes mostly jellyfish and also other types of kind of squiggly aquatic animals. They are also invertebrates. Clearly, they do not have a backbone. And usually, jellyfish and other animals in the phylum Cnidaria have two life stages. They have a Medusa life stage, which is the life stage that the jellyfish in the painting is going through as the tentacles are facing down. And another part of the life stage is the polyp stage, where they are stationary attached to a substrate, which can be the ocean floor or anything like that. Often the life cycle is they begin as polyp attached to a substrate and releasing gonads, which develop into medusa, allowing them to go through the water and spread to different places until they settle down, and then the life cycle begins again. Jellyfish have stingers, as you probably know, which are called cnidocytes, and these stingers are also equipped with toxins, and they operate in a passive fashion, which means that they are just automatically triggered by touch, which also means that if you encounter a dead jellyfish, there is a chance that it can still sting you, which is pretty metal. Like, that was so fascinating when I learned about it. So here is the final painting. I'm pretty proud of it. My first time using oil paints was not bad, and overall I'm pretty happy. I'm happy that I decided to paint this to commemorate my fun experience in my invertebrates class, and honestly, just go out and learn more about these animals. Invertebrates are cool as hell. Thanks for watching and I hope you have a great day. Bye.